All right. Hello, hello, hello. It is Wednesday and it's time for Pop and Politics. I'm KJ. Let me introduce you to my co-host. All right. Back with us tonight is Nicole Bennett, National Director of the Black Conservative Federation, and Shelley E.
Hi.
All right. Before we dive in, folks, please do me a favor. Tap that thumbs up and subscribe right now. We're on YouTube and Rumble. We are back on Rumble tonight.
Woo.
You can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify under the name Pop and Politics. We love our chat. So we shout out our chat throughout the night, specifically our super chats. So it's the best way to get your voice heard in the conversation and to show your love for conservative content. Folks, this is not just a podcast. This is a movement of God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that value freedom. Stand with us and subscribe so we can amplify this rallying call for freedom. All right, ladies, let's set it off. So, breaking news out of right here in Maryland. So yesterday we had a mass shooting here in an area called Towson. Now that is actually a suburb. It's not the city. It's a suburb here in Maryland. So last night left one person dead and 9 others injured, according to Baltimore County Police. Authorities believe the incident occurring in the 8500 block of Loch Raven Boulevard near a Towson funeral home was targeted. Police confirmed that multiple victims were transported to area hospitals, though they did not specify how many suffered gunshot wounds. However, they did note that the deceased individual appeared to have died from gunshot injuries. Baltimore County Police Chief Robert McCullough shared that officers received numerous reports of shooting in Loch Raven area around 7:15 p.m. So, ladies, can you believe another mass shooting? Nicole, what are your thoughts?
It's too close to Christmas for this.
Yeah.
I think some people have been pushed to the edge for whatever reason, if it's economic, spiritual, social. I'm just looking forward to the new year so we can get beyond the violence and this feeling.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward for the bastard who did it to be arrested, put away. And again, I do believe in the death penalty, particularly for murder and some other heinous crimes, certainly for murder. But again, we talked about this on Monday with the unfortunate tragedy in Wisconsin.
Right.
And again, I think we are missing something. I know many people want to run straight to, it's the guns and yeah, I think criminals do obtain guns illegally when they should not have them. However, I think we are missing something. And I say we as a society, as a community, there are people that have been, or that have grown up, if you will, without having proper parenting, discipline, and they have no regard for other people's lives. I think that's a big part of it. And until we, find better ways to address that, I don't know. I think it's going to keep happening.
Yeah, you brought up an excellent point. It's parenting, it's community. There's no accountability.
Yes.
We're seeing a lack of that. Not only in the homes, but also with in regards to education in the school systems, and no accountability from the police, from law enforcement.
That's very true. I think one of the things is, how do you repair a broken person? Do you know what I mean? And the best thing that we can do is give them parameters. The best thing that we can do is have hard boundaries. And with the defund the police movement and all these other social movements that tell people, you're not going to be held accountable. We see this in California. They had a meme on yesterday where they're just taking over a whole store. They just kind of break in, take what they want, and leave with impunity.
Yeah.
And leave. At some point, the righteous have got to stand up. And I think this is the point.
Yeah.
Well, this is the atmosphere we've created.
Absolutely.
Over the last 4 years or so, we've created an environment where people are coddled. They're told that it's okay to do things like that, and there would be no consequence. You're actually told to stand back and let people steal, mug. Juveniles are running crazy throughout the city and other areas. And this is what the outcome is. And so this is why I'm so excited, not only for Trump to for Trump to come into office, because it seems like, at least from what we're seeing so far, just him being in office has created some kind of change.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah. There is something, if you want to say something's in the air, and there's a sense that he's going to at least not so much establish, but certainly uphold a sense of order, a sense of accountability, if not for the communities, certainly from the politicians and the government.
Absolutely.
So it's gonna come from his level, I'll say, to top down. Hopefully that will filter throughout society within various communities. That same idea that it's hard, and I know that this is hard to actually point out your own children, because when people say, oh, that's those people that are committing those crimes, or that's not my child or not my family, well, who's doing it? All these people are related to somebody, okay? And it's not only the poor who doing all of these crimes. It's not only, the uneducated and the people who live in impoverished and downtrodden communities. No, it's not. But it's a difficult thing for people, relatives, parents to say, you know what? My child or my cousin, whomever, is part of the problem. It's difficult to do that emotionally, but we cannot allow these someone calls them miscreants. I didn't see C4, a radio station DJ here. Miscreants. We cannot allow them to tear down the community, to tear down the streets. We cannot do it. I don't care if we do happen to share the same DNA. We cannot do it.
Yeah, I think to a large degree, this is a small part of a larger problem. The tearing apart of the American culture and our fabric. When you have the video we showed a few weeks ago, the little girl in the Walmart, tearing stuff up, and there, no one intervened. Intervene.
Exactly.
Intervene. We have got to start standing up for what is right.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, but as you mentioned, Shelley, the parenting is a huge part of this. We are seeing a breakdown in the parenting, in families and things like that. And that brings us to the next topic. Candace Owens was talking about this today, or it may have been yesterday. So she actually interviewed the lady that we were talking about in our last episode, Lily Phillips. So she is the woman who had sex with 101 men in 24 hours, one day. And now she is on her way to have sex with 1,000 men. In a small period of time. She's the OnlyFans model, and she's doing this. Well, Candace Owens sat down with her yesterday and asked her about it. And in this segment that we're about to show you, she strictly emphasizes the lack of parenting has caused this type of situation. This is clip 9.
Abuse in this, which is quite alarming to me. So I'm just curious about your relationship with her.
I mean, my parents definitely don't describe having as, what did you say? Sorry, abusive or
Violating.
I don't think it's abusive. I think
Just
your
a
daughter
violating.
being violated 100 times by strangers is abusive.
So my parents don't describe as being violated. They don't really see it in that way. They know I've always been very liberal, and to be honest, my parents, they're not coaching me into it. They're not telling me, please keep having these people at all. They're not, they're not really exactly, I wouldn't really say like supportive, but at the end of the day, they love me. And what is it going to do if they disown me, stop talking to me? That would only cause more heartache. So they see it from a standpoint of, my mum does like my finances because she wants to help me. They just want to do what they can to help. It's not so much like if they disown me tomorrow, like I think that would just make everyone more upset.
Are you giving your mom a cut?
I'm not arguing that they should disown you. I mean, I understand like a mother's love for their child. I'm saying that it is unnatural for your mother to be counting the finances that you're earning from having 100 strangers violate you on the internet for cash, you know? And that is the part that there's just no way to normalize that. There's no way to normalize that. I'm a parent. There's no way, like I have a daughter, and the idea of being involved in that, like, it's not saying that if she goes down that path, that you're not going to be there and pray and hope that, you know, she changes, and speak to her about that and say, I'm always going to love you. But I view it as predatory, you know, parental behavior. And I don't think it's fair to even describe it as my parents are liberal. I mean, I'm obviously not a liberal, I'm a conservative, but none of my liberal friends, liberal family members, their parents would view this also as demonic, whether they have faith or not. They would just say, what parent would want that for their child? Because your mother is old enough to understand what the implications are for your future, you know? You already comprehend what the futures are, making it, I get that you turn everything into a joke. I think you do that really to protect yourself as an armor. I don't think you actually think it's funny, but to recognize that, like, you're a beautiful young girl, and you're never going to have the prospects. You're not going to have a man that wants to have a family with you, because they're going to see you as damaged goods. Your mother partaking in that, just so you know, is a form of abuse. It is. It's abusive.
Wow. So I encourage everyone to take a look at that interview. Candace really, I mean, she didn't go hard on her, but she had some very good points that she made. So that brings me back to the point of parenting. So Shelley, do you agree that Lily's parents are being abusive by working with her? Is what
in a way, I would say in a way, or maybe I would just say yes. I think they are. One of the things I liked about this interview, you're right, Candace didn't go hard, and she said that up to, like, her prelude up to the interview, and she was saying that, you know, sometimes even the leftists and people on the right, we just want to do the name calling, the mocking, or the mockery, but we don't actually take the time to sit down and talk to people, even people who may be totally opposite of us. At least to me, it looked like Lily, it's like she had never even heard that. Just her body language when Candace was saying that. And she wasn't, you know, defensive. She looked like she genuinely had never heard. No one ever told her this. And she
specifically told her what? What do you mean?
That what her mom or her parents are doing was wrong.
Predatory.
That no one maybe ever even sat down like this and just had a civil conversation, regardless of what she's doing, just talking to her like a human being with dignity. It looked like no one has ever done this. What people have done, I'm guessing, is that they have talked to her, they wanted to mock her, attack her, they wanted to, you know, berate her. Granted, we can all agree that what she's doing is wrong, not good, whatever. But no, she looked like she was genuinely open to, like, oh, no, I've never heard it like this before. That's what I loved about this interview. But yes, I think her mother or dad, whomever her parents are, this is an abusive way. In a sense, they are helping to pimp her out in a sense.
Yeah, Nicole, I mean, when we think about modern feminism, so, you know, first wave feminism told us that, you know, they were fighting for the right to vote and things like that. And then we see second and third wave feminism, where it's really about, well, you can sleep with whomever you want, as many people as you want. That is what liberation, you know, feminism is. Is this what we're seeing here? Is this what she's doing? And is a crisis of parenthood?
Yes, absolutely. I think this is the end result of very permissive parents. Listen, I don't think there's one moment that the parents haven't loved this girl.
Right.
You know, they've probably been very giving and loving and caring with her, but there were no parameters. There were no hard boundaries. You know, when the child runs the home and you allow the child to pick sex work as their career path, and not only allow them to pick that, but you actually assist, there's something wrong in that parental relationship. You know, there are no adults in the room when your love for your child overrides your greater sense of protecting your child.
Right.
You know, as a parent, especially a parent of a girl, it's difficult. You know, you want to walk that line. You don't want to make yourself your daughter's enemy, but I'm most assuredly not her friend.
Right.
You know, she's got friends. I'm not one of them. I am the authority figure.
Right.
I am the moral compass. And when she gets too far afield, it is my God-given job to make sure that I bring her back. Now, this idea of modern feminism,
I call
feminism
it
in general.
girls gone wild feminism.
Exactly. The thing that I really abhor about it is nothing about being feminine. It's nothing about being feminine. It is all about do whatever you want. Consequences don't matter. And I don't know about you, but consequences matter greatly to me as a woman, right? Even as a young girl, consequences matter. You make wrong decisions and you get this poor outcome. Consequences matter.
Right.
But this new wave of feminism where nothing's your fault, you're not responsible. Oh, you sleep with 100 guys, one gets away from them and you end up pregnant, you go to Planned Parenthood, voila, you're no longer pregnant.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? This thing where nothing counts and nothing is bigger than you are has to stop. Has to stop.
Yeah, I remember when we were growing up. I'm guessing. I know I heard the adults would say to the young people, to the children, I don't care if you don't like me.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'm glad you don't, because that means that's a mark of me doing something right. If you don't like me, it's like, okay, you'll get over it. I mean, it was a non-issue, right? It was, and so now you have adults with third wave feminism, with the I guess the reduction of proper or masculinity in a healthy way. Everybody wants to be the friend. I don't want a 5-year-old to be my friend.
Thank you.
I mean, we have nothing in common. Now, I don't want 5-year-olds hurt and things like that, but I don't find it mature. I don't find it wise for adults to go around saying, "Oh, this is my little friend, my buddy, I'm his best friend," or when children say, "Well, of course, young children want to say, 'Mommy and Daddy, my best friend,' because that's they're supposed to. That's a part of the growth and development." But I don't find it cute or I don't know, mature. I'll say again, when adults claim that they are friends with 5-year-olds or just 10-year-olds, this is my best, but no, it's not. Right. No, it's not. You should be an adult. You can take care of that child. You can have a healthy relationship. You can have fun together, go out and play ball, things like that. But I don't want to be a friend with my child and nobody else's child for that matter. I don't want to be.
Well, we're in an age right now, especially for women, where no one wants to age. No one wants. We used to have this age gracefully.
Yeah,
it wasn't a bad thing to become a grandma.
Right.
Now nobody wants to call a grandma.
Your grandma, your mima, anything but. Right?
Exactly. And so I think that kind of plays into it too, because it seems like some women are actually trying to get back to some type of youth, and so
the
they
fountain of youth,
right? They live vicariously through their child.
So they're saying, "Oh, this is your little 5-year. This is my best friend." They're trying. They think that's cute to be best friends with your child, and I think that plays into it too.
You see it with some women. Will tell you that their son is the man of the house.
Right.
No, he's not the man of the house. It's your son.
It's your son.
Don't put that much pressure on him. But what I really like what Candace did, the thing that really impressed me, is she didn't speak to her with condemnation.
Exactly.
She spoke to her with disappointment.
Yes.
And we've all been there. Your child acts a fool somewhere and you're just disappointed. And there's a time where shaking them doesn't work. And you just need to sit down and say, make better choices.
Yeah.
Make better choices.
But real quick, KJ, you talking about the older people don't want to be called grandma or whatever. So I went to a birthday party a couple weeks ago from a former coworker who retired and things, her birthday. So she turned 80. And at her party, it was so pretty. It was a really nice party. At her party, she said, I'm thankful for my grandchildren, my family. She said, and my grandchildren call me grandma. Don't call me grandma. Don't call me G-ma. I love that my grandchildren call me grandma. And it was just so sweet to hear that. She, that's what I want you to call me, grandma. Don't call me.
It's a mark of respect.
Yeah.
The grand part. It's a mark of respect.
Yeah, I do want to acknowledge our super chatters. I did see somebody say, get those likes up. Thank you so much. Yes. Get those likes up, guys. That really helps to amplify our voice here on YouTube, helps to push us up on the YouTube stream. So please get those likes up while you watch. All right, so we have Kung Fu CJ with the $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Says, amen, Nicole. All right. And let's see here. We have Kung Fu CJ again. Says, tell them, Shelly, with the $2 super chat. Thank you so much. All right. And then Jay Hunter Lee with the $5 super chat says, getting older is inevitable, but aging is a choice. All right.
I like the way he said that.
Me too. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. So definitely get those likes up, guys. We certainly appreciate it. And, Christmas is right around the corner. And you guys see we have our mugs here that we are using. So this is pretty cool. It says black, not white, American. So I really like this one. It's a great stocking stuffer for anybody on any of those patriots in your family or patriot friends, or even if they're not. This is like pretty general, just a nice sentiment. So definitely you can go to popandpoliticslive.com. Check it out. You can click on shop and you can find our merch there, and you can get one of these cups. So these mugs and a lot of other stuff too. We have hoodies, we have sweatshirts, t-shirts, all kinds of stuff. And Nicole is using her Pop and Politics mug. Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and say it. I'm not tonight.
It's okay. No, that's fine. All right, we have another super chatter here. It looks like also. Thank you so much. Let's see here. We have Jeff Arrington with a $20 super chat. Says, oops, I missed it.
The problem is children raising children.
All right, yeah, that's what it is. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, you're right. Thank you so much, Jeff. All right, so we are moving right along. I want to move on now to Trump. So, folks, we've seen over the last several weeks since Trump won, we've seen a massive move towards him. And when I say that, I mean, recently, numerous left-wing media journalists and pundits have begun making surprisingly positive remarks about President Trump. So take a look here. This is an MSNBC host talking about how easy it was to reach Trump by phone. This is Stephanie Ruhle, clip 2.
Donald Trump had that crazy rally at Madison Square Garden.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I rolled the dice, and I called him on the phone. And he answered!
Of course he did! Of course! What'd he say?
And I wasn't calling to chit-chat. I said, Mr. President, this is Stephanie Ruhle. You made a lot of comments last night, blah, 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 blah. And it was not an on-the-record conversation. Long story, so I'm not going to get into what he said, but I called for one reason. I said, you just said a whole bunch of public things. I'd like to sit down for an interview with you. We got 5 days before the election. So we didn't get into anything. There's nothing for me to report. I called him and said, I want an interview with you. Obviously, he said no. But my point is, I was able to get to him by dialing his phone. Right. Now, that might be completely ape shit, and you're like, I can't believe people know this guy's phone number. Yeah. But the reverse of that, if I were to want to connect with VP Harris or President Biden, there's 50 people between me and that. I could write a note that maybe could get to somebody, then through Pony Express and a pigeon, something might end up in a mailbox near them. And I called DJT to say, yo, can I have an interview? He told me to go fuck myself, but I still was able to connect with him. Yeah.
But he still picked up.
All right. So you remember her. She was one of the few anchors that Kamala Harris actually sat down with prior to the election. When she was, her name's Stephanie Ruhle from MSNBC. So she's an actual journalist, believe it or not. But she's just one of many. Now, we know even MSNBC, who else? Joe Scarborough, Mika Brinsky. Many of these, even The View, were actually saying somewhat kind words about President Trump. So my question to you ladies is, are they genuinely experiencing a shift in perspective and seeing the light? Or are they strategically aligning their commentary with the rising tide of Trump's high approval ratings as we move towards his presidency? What are your thoughts there, Shelley?
I think neither one. I don't think they're aligning. I don't think they necessarily have seen the light. I think for some of them, they may be dealing with this cognitive dissonance. Like on The View, I think it was today or yesterday, like Sunny and then we're kind of cogitating some things. I think that's one. But number two, I think they are just riding the wave to keep content and maybe money coming into advertisements to their shows. I don't think it's anything more than that.
That's what I mean, the ratings. ratings.
Oh, for that in that sense, but I don't think it's that they're just going on like long term for him to get on so they can get him to keep having advertised. I think they're doing it for their own purposes, not so much for Trump's popularity. They're using his popularity.
Oh yeah, for their ratings.
Oh, okay, that's what you're saying. Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there's a large part of our media that blows with the wind.
Right.
And, right now Trump is the hottest thing coming. I mean, he's the hottest, quite literally the most popular person on the planet. And aligning yourself with him ahead of Rob Schneider's new television station and all the changes that are going to come to MSNBC. Yeah, this is the time to get on the good foot. For real. If you want to keep your $30 million a year job, this is the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually historic, his ratings. December 6th was a historic day. It was the first time since July 2015 Donald Trump entered presidential politics that more people have said they have favorable impression of him than an unfavorable one. So all that time from Trump's first Republican primary campaign to the 2016 general election, to his years as president, to his defeat in 2020, to his post-presidential years, to his comeback in 2024. And all of that time, according to Real Clear Politics average polls, his favorite, he was underwater. So now for the first time, he's above water. In the latest our Real Clear Politics average, 49.4% of those surveyed had favorable impression of Trump versus 47.4% who had an unfavorable impression. Compare that to, say, July, when Trump's unfavorable rating was 54.5 and his favorable rating was 42.2. So that's 12 points underwater. Even on election day, Trump's unfavorable rating was 51.9 versus 44.9. So he's definitely rising in the polls. He's rising in his favorability.
Well, I think a lot of that has to do with people figuring out, hearing people like Stephen A. Smith, figuring out that they've been lied to, that they've been misled. There are going to be people who awaken to that and are going to be very angry. Do you remember a couple of years ago when everybody was unfriending people for saying that COVID, anything about COVID or Hunter Biden's laptop, and people are like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're a QAnon. And then you turn around and you find out that the people are right. There are going to be some people who immediately come to terms with that. Some people who are diehard, who've had this steady dose of anti-joy, anti-whoopee, the people who've had that kind of ingrained in them, it's going to be a little bit harder to come to the table. But I think deep down they know.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering will they become an investigative news source again?
Who?
Mainstream news, mainstream media. I mean, we saw over the last several years how they were a propaganda tool for the Democrat Party. Specifically, if you look at Morning Joe, Joe Scarborough. So recently, he was one of the first left-leaning news mainstream media people to go visit President Trump at Mar-a-Lago, and they took a lot of flack for that.
There's
I still don't understand why. And I'm not a Scarborough fan, but I don't see why he would not have gone. I don't see why he would not have gone to talk to Trump. I don't see why any journalist would not go to talk with Trump.
Well, I don't either.
Oh,
but
that's what I mean. Yeah,
this was they would not have done it before this.
The gossip is
this was
there's some tea.
Oh,
okay, go ahead.
Some tea.
You can get your mug and get your tea too.
Get your tea hot. Let me tell you, the tea is that he really believed what people were saying, that there were going to be certain people who would be deemed so un-American that they would be sent to Guantanamo, that there would be literally the camps that they talked about. You know how people believe their own hype?
So Joe Scarborough believed this. Is that what you're saying?
He and Mika believed that they were on a list.
And so they were going to beg for them not for them.
And that was the president's reaction, from what I understand.
Okay.
Scuttlebutt is that he found it, fairly hilarious, but it spoke more to their delusions. It was like, we don't have time for that. We're trying to save a nation. Good luck with it.
Well, speaking of delusion, this is him in clip 7. This is the biggest propaganda piece that we've heard. He pushed out one of the biggest propaganda pieces we've heard throughout this election cycle. This is clip 7.
But comparing that guy's mental state, I've said it for years now, he's cogent. But I undersold him when I said he was cogent. He's far beyond cogent. In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been. Intellectually, analytically, because he's been around for 50 years. And, you know, I don't know if people know this or not, Biden used to be a hothead. Sometimes that Irishman would get in front of the reasoning. Sometimes he would say things he didn't want to say. This is, and I don't really, you know what, I don't really care. Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it. And you.
Yep. So that was Joe Scarborough talking about Biden, saying he was the sharpest tool in the toolbox, in the shed. And this was before, this was before the election, of course, this was this year, though. This was this year. So we know this was a lie, but we saw how mainstream media has been a propaganda tool for the Democrat Party for several years.
I think they're going to continue to be a propaganda tool or be used by the Democratic Party or anybody who they can align with that helps them get ratings.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. So they're going to keep.
Didn't used to be that way.
But no, you're right. It didn't. But they're going to. That's why I say it's not a matter of them having a change of heart or change of mind. They're going literally where the wind blows, as long as it fans the flames of their accounts getting bigger and bigger.
That's all it is. It comes down to this. It comes down to money. None of these people are living check to check.
Exactly.
Let's just call it what it is. But they do have a certain lifestyle that they would like to maintain. The problem is they do it at the expense of what Americans believe about politics and other Americans, our public institutions. When you feed America a steady diet of lies, especially people who are pretty vulnerable. You know, we live in the swamp. Well, I live closer to a swamp than you guys do, but we live in the swamp. So we know what happens in Washington.
Right.
DC. It's a car ride, right? Just roll up on, right? But if I live somewhere, let's say in the heartland, if I lived in, well, not Iowa, but in Idaho, you know, you're pretty much far removed. So you're really reliant on what you hear on the national news about what's happening in the nation's capital. When you get your national news from Mika and Joe, you're not getting news. You're getting opinion. You're getting opinion. And that's the problem. When they stopped being news to be strictly opinion, they lost the trust of the American people. And now they're reaping what they've sown.
And I don't think that they care that they lost the trust.
No, they still kept the money though.
Oh, right. And they're going to keep getting. They're going to keep it as long. They don't care that they lost the trust. They don't care.
Nope, they don't care. Listen, from what I understand, the gossips about them going down to Mar-a-Lago, you know, was one. They were dead ass. They really thought that Trump was going to do something to kind of excise them from, quote unquote, media. He didn't give a fat rat about.
Interestingly enough, he actually saw them though. How,
of course,
not just gracious, how what's the word I want to say? Courageous, if you will. How confident.
Absolutely confident.
He saw them.
You know, it's something about alpha male energy, even in the face of a bunch of betas. And we can talk about alpha female energy too, when you looked at that clip with Candace and this British woman, because at any point, Candace could have cracked her soul in two pieces and broke her open like Humpty Dumpty with just a few choice words. This is a girl who's so lost and so stuck in herself.
She's already fragile. Why break her?
Why break her? What she needed was grace, right? But not the kind of grace that absolves her from everything, but the kind of grace that says you're wrong. The people who are around you who allow this are wrong, but they still love you.
Right.
It's a different kind of love, right?
Is it love?
I think her parents do love her.
I think her parents.
I think they're very predatory in their behavior with her. Incredibly permissive.
She's not a meal ticket.
Oh,
she might be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, she might be. I don't know when she started doing whatever the OnlyFans thing. I don't know. I mean, again, let's just say she did it as an adult, right? I'm not saying her parents did not love her up till then. They went along with her, if you will, on the financial side to create this OnlyFans 100 men or whatever the case may be as an adult. This, in a sense, that's why it's predatory in that sense. They're using her for their meal ticket. I think they loved her as an adult. It's a little twisted, I think. Certainly twisted. I don't even know if I want to say it's abusive in a general sense because she is an adult. But at the same time, what Candace did, I love that interview. Like you said, she's already broken. There's no need to
break her further.
Yeah.
No one gains from that. I think
Right.
the most pointed words that Candace had were aimed more toward her parents. However, not in such a way that made this girl think of her parents as anything other than her parents. Because when this is over, and it will be over, she's still going to need her parents to love her. People who are that fragile, like, you don't wake up in the morning and go, you know what, I think I'm gonna start an OnlyFans and toss me 100 guys and see what happens. That type of relationship started small, and she tested the boundaries.
Well, she said she's always been whorish.
Well, who said that? The girl?
Yeah, she said that. She said even before she started.
She did say she was promiscuous.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, she did.
She said that she was sleeping around, and stuff like that, and so then she decided to make money off of it. So
there's some weird stuff on that OnlyFans.
Oh yeah.
There's some
it's pornography.
Yeah, there's some stuff going down.
Pornography.
There's some stuff going down, right?
Huh? Yeah, most of it is pornography.
So you see what else is coming.
What? All right.
We're not gonna start giggling.
Yeah. So we kind of got off track there a little bit, but as far as the mainstream media, they have really been totally liars, misinformation. They've continued to now they called Trump Hitler, called him all types of fascist.
He was all
dictator, all
fascist,
and
racist.
They still go down to Mar-a-Lago to see him. So they're jokes. They're jokes. And so this is why we
rapist.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They did call him that
$15 million worth of rapist.
Yeah. So this is why we turned them off. We turned off mainstream media a long time ago, and it's important to have independent media. And thanks to people like you, patriots who love America and stand for truth, we're making a difference. Together, we've turned them off, called out their lies and propaganda, and held them accountable for their disdain for God-fearing, freedom-loving Americans like us. But we can't stop by just turning them off. It's not enough. It's time to take action with our dollars. Let's make 2025 the year we double down on our commitment to values-driven choices. Vote with your dollars, support Made in America, back companies that honor our families and our country. We found an exciting way to make this switch, and we want you all to join us. Check out www.popandswitch.com and click yes, I want to make the switch. It's that easy. It's time to walk away from corporations like Vanguard and BlackRock that undermine our principles. Let's invest in America. Let's support businesses that share our love for this country. You don't have to do it all at once, but you can start here. Join us in making this one small yet powerful step. Visit www.popandswitch.com, click the link, and schedule a call with someone from our team. All right, together we can make a difference with this. We're already starting small, but let's change it with our dollars. All right, so we are moving right along. Speaking of parenting, I want to bring you guys this father, this dad, who blasted the Vista Unified School Board for giving his child an assignment which asked kids to act out LGBT coming out. Take a look. This is clip 1.
All right. Well, thank you guys for having me. I am here to talk about an assignment that was showed into my daughter's classroom. I'm going to read the assignment. I do have a picture, but that's neither here nor there. It says, stand in a circle. Each of you is now gay or lesbian, and you're about to begin your coming out process. You cannot talk for the rest of this activity. I don't see how this is part of the California curriculum for education. There's nothing that it does other than groom children. It's not okay, it's disgusting, and it should not be allowed. I was told by the vice principal of Rancho the first time I called that it was not part of the curriculum. I then emailed Dr. Ruhle. He emailed me back saying, oh no, this is definitely part of the curriculum, this specific activity. Then he had one of his other vice principals call me to confirm that it was really part of this curriculum. I have tried to get into contact with Dr. Villarreal over the phone about 7 times, 8 times, and just failed every single time. He has not reached out to me himself personally, other than the first email contact that we had. I've reached out to Dr. Matt Doyle. I do understand that we will be having a meeting between January 6th and the 13th, I believe. So there is that. I don't think that this assignment should ever be taught to any children. It does not do anything other than groom them. Should not be allowed. Anybody who teaches this should be fired immediately. That's all I have to say about it.
Okay, thank you. Just so that you know, if you've not spoken before, we can't respond from the dais.
I understand.
Okay, thank you.
Wow. So, Shelley, why does the school feel like they need to do this?
Mhm.
Why are they doing this?
The short answer is because we collectively have allowed them to.
Mhm.
We collectively, again, we have basically implicitly or explicitly given the government, if you will, the authority to tell us what to do with our children. And for many people, decades, whatever, people have been afraid. They don't want to look like they're rebels or they're agitating. They just want to go along with everything. The government says this, so I have to do it. Bullshit. Okay, these are your children, number one. Number two, I don't know the grade that was that a quote unquote assignment. It was not an assignment. When we had assignments in grade school, the assignment said something like, you're going to be the president. You're pretending you're the vice president. You're pretending you're whatever. And then, what would they do? What would you do? That's an assignment, right? That's called, civics, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But this is not. This is about grooming. It also assumes that when that little bit that was shown, it also assumes that the children know what LGBT people do, how they come out, because it said to act it out. So that assumes that they have already been exposed to it, which they probably have through that school or through the school curriculum. That's not a curriculum. You should rip it up. That's what I would tell that father. And I would suggest, like I have been strongly suggesting, that you get your children out of public schools. One more thing I'm going to add. This is a question for our audience. How many of you actually have gone to a school board meeting? Do you know what is in your child's curriculum? How many of you actually go to the school to just sit there all day, go from class to class so that you can watch and see what's being taught? Do it. I encourage you to do it. I encourage you to show up and do it more and more, because a lot of these things are going on when you're not there. And a lot of people just don't know. Maybe you don't believe that this is happening, but these curriculums, these school boards, these districts are very clever about how they incorporate this stuff. And in some cases, like here in Maryland, they actually tell you that's what they're going to do.
And then in some, they will not give you the curriculum.
Right.
I believe there's a lawsuit going on right now where I forget which state it is, but parents asked the school for the curriculum and they sued them. I think.
Because I think the lady was asking. They kept suing her for they do things like that.
They charged them for asking for the curriculum. So I mean, it's ridiculous.
Listen, you should never co-parent with the government. You should never. Uncle Sam is not a friend of yours. The problem that we have is that we have to work hard in order to provide nice things. So there was a level of trust that we had between people who provide education to our children, teachers, and that kind of thing. Because when you think about it, you think back to your teachers. My teachers were amazing. I had Dr. Budabal. He was legally blind. He taught us physics. Took us to, Kennywood Park in Pittsburgh and rode the roller coasters. You scream at the top and you hear it when you get to the bottom. That's how I learned about sound waves. Do you know what I mean? You have amazing teachers who actually help shape and mold you. We still have some amazing teachers, but we also have some bad actors who are definitely shaping and molding our children. When you look in the uptick of children who are saying that they're quote unquote transgender, or suddenly gay, little girls who go from Barbie straight to playing with the neighborhood girls. There's something amiss. And when you can't put your finger on it, I'm with you, Shelley, on this point. Look at who they spend the most of their time with. Right? This activity that the teachers wanted to do assumes a lot. When you read the assignment, he or she has been talking to these kids about
Absolutely.
this LGBTQIA,
Absolutely.
LMNOP, alphabet warrior bullshit for a long time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For a very long time.
Well, that's supposed to be the base now. I mean, that's the baseline. They believe that this trans, LGBT, all of it is part of the base and should be taught right alongside heterosexual stuff.
Well, they're trying to normalize
Right.
abhorrent behavior.
Yeah.
You know, listen, I think we started to lose the culture war when you would hear people say, well, what you do in your bedroom is none of my business. Absolute truth.
Mhm.
What you do in your bedroom is none of my business. But when you bring your bedroom to the schoolroom,
Exactly.
when you bring your bedroom to the boardroom, then we've got problems. No one should be forced to celebrate your sexuality. No one should be forced to celebrate your sexuality. I'm waiting on straight month. You know, when, girl, we're going to show out. I guess the rainbow's taken. We got to pick something else, or maybe some neon. But we have to stop this fragmenting of our culture. Right. It does no one any good.
Right.
Because it started off small. You know, we just want to be recognized as human beings. You're human just like I'm human. You got different choices, you know, go with God. Then let us get married. Listen, if that's your thing, jump in. Let us adopt children. Okay, now we're adopting children. Now it's bow down.
Right.
Bow down.
Right.
You, give them a little bit. And I don't think, you know, I'm a friend to many, many gay people, you know, many, many gay people. The problem is not your everyday gay person, but it's the activist class.
Exactly.
That considers themselves kicking doors in for the greater good. The greater good is minding their damn business.
I still remember, I remember most of my teachers' names from grade school to high school and certainly in college. My 6th grade math teacher, he was gay as a bird, wore a suit and a tie every day, but he's the one that I know and I can remember. I don't want to say his name because hopefully, whatever, but Mr. X, I'll say, he taught us math. He was the one that taught us that if the government owes you a check, if you get a refund check every year, then you pay too much your taxes.
Yep.
I still remember that. That was 6th grade. Never was his gayness an issue, if you will. We just knew he was gay because, you know, the culture things, like he was too, the way he walked.
Yeah.
But we didn't talk about it in class, and he certainly didn't introduce us to anything in class. We learned math. We called him Mr. It was respect. He called us whatever, Johnny, Jill, whatever our names were. You do your math. You better learn math. You had no choice but to learn math in his class, right? You take your butt home for the day. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Let me get some of the super chats here. We do have some super chats I want to acknowledge. Thank you guys so much. All right, let's see here. We have King Deuce with the $20 super chat. Thank you.
Thank you.
Says, ladies, you are loved, respected, and protected.
Oh,
keep up the
that's
good
so
fight.
wonderful.
Black men need you more than
Oh,
ever.
that's so
It's so
sweet.
sweet.
Thank you.
For sure.
Oh,
All
that is
right.
so sweet.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, we have Praneet with the $5 super chat. Says, watching on Rumble, they will never surrender. Never surrender. Yes, indeed. All right, our Rumble crew. Thank you guys so much. Keep up the super chats. We certainly appreciate it. It goes a long way in helping us produce conservative content. And hit that like button, guys.
For sure.
We have so many people watching. We don't have the same amount of likes, so we got to get the likes up, folks. Get those likes up. Smash that like button. All right, now I want to continue on this course and move on to Ben Shapiro. So Ben Shapiro took on 25 supporters of Kamala Harris in a debate video published by Jubilee as part of its Surrounded series, which aimed to confront ideological and political differences head on. Shapiro sat in the middle of a circle, presented his arguments, and had them challenged claim by claim. Other popular conservatives have participated in this same thing as well, like Charlie Kirk. We have another super chatter here. Anna Barnes.
Thank you so
Anna.
much.
Yes, thank
So
you.
generous.
I was going to read it. What is
Love you, ladies. You are all beautiful.
All right.
that's so
Thank
sweet.
you.
Thank
We
you,
certainly
Anna.
appreciate you. All right. So I want you guys to take a look at this, and we're going to talk through it. So we're going to stop and start this clip because I have some comments on it. Yeah. So this is clip 8.
Question, can men get pregnant?
Men cannot get pregnant.
Okay, awesome. So,
Definitionally.
Definitionally, okay. Do men experience SA? Sexual assault?
Sure.
Got it. What about the existence of trans men?
What about the existence?
Right.
Do you mean women who believe that they are men? What are we talking about here? Women experiencing gender dysphoria?
So my other question is, do you benefit from white supremacy in any way, shape, or form?
I'm going to need more specifics on what you mean by white
Well, here,
supremacy.
let me give it to you then.
Sure, please.
So I'm a transgender man.
Okay.
I've experienced SA.
All right,
Okay.
stop it
And
right here.
abortion
Stop it right
rights
here. Stop it right
affect
here.
me.
So, all right. So, first off, that is a woman.
Mhm.
I knew it as soon as she said
Oh,
that.
absolutely.
Okay. But did you see Ms. Shapiro's face when she turned around the chair? So all of the she had to come up. She had to come up with it, and she had to turn the chair around and sit in it like she got a
Yeah.
penis in between her legs, and she had to squat open like, "Oh, you're gonna see my invisible penis, whether you like it or not." And then, and Ben is looking at her like,
What's going on with
"What
you,
are you?"
lady?
Yeah,
Right, right.
but
What's
you
your
could tell
problem?
he was a little alarmed because we know he's had a situation with a trans person in the
Mhm.
past where they tried to fight him, and
Yes.
this woman is pretty big.
Well, she threatened him.
Well, I
Yeah.
don't know. I think he's been brushing up on his cough, McGraw. I think he could take her.
That was a few years ago. That
Right,
one.
right. You
I
remember
think
that?
he's in a better
Yeah.
place now. Yeah.
So what do you guys think so far?
First of all, now, granted, I know this was Jubilee, and I know this was, for the screen, if you will. The first thing that came to my mind was, why waste your time debating delusional people? I mean, it's pointless. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Ben. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have done this, but in the average day, why waste your time? I'm not going to. I'm not going to sit here and quote unquote argue back and forth with a dick pretending to be a chick or vice versa. And then he goes down this rabbit hole. Oh my gosh, Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, Alice in Wonderland didn't go as far as he did.
Exactly.
Yeah. But from what you saw so far,
I just, my head was spinning.
Yeah.
So what I saw so far was a very angry woman whose medication is too strong. Her testosterone level is like right on up in here, and her level of aggression is because that's what she thinks men do.
Mm-hmm.
The truth is, men don't behave that way.
No,
unless they're threatened.
Yeah.
Alpha males certainly don't.
No.
Oh, of course.
Well,
First of all,
I want to continue. Here we go. Let's continue on.
Look at the hair and the beard.
So if we're talking about the American dream that you live, why don't I have access to that? Because there's no legislation, in the history of America, that legislates a man's body, so why does mine have to be legislated? I've got a vagina.
I'm not interested in what your genitalia are.
Clearly you are. I mean, it's all over everything you make, buddy. I'm sorry. I hate to say it to you, but
I can't see right on my face that I'm
so first of all, Ben is like
what the hell? I know, what?
Oh my God.
This is scary in a lot of ways.
But it is indicative of who these activists are. Okay, we know you're a woman, a very aggressive woman, a poorly behaved woman, and now you're going to throw your vagina at Ben. I mean, like at some point, ma'am.
At first he said, "Can men be sexually assaulted?" But then he says he has a vagina. Well, I mean, it's just all over the place.
Here's the thing: the best question he asked was about the American dream. Why can't I have the American dream? Well, you picked your dream.
Exactly. You picked a nightmare.
Your dream. You chose to pretend to be a man. And here you are flexing on a man who's trying to have an intellectual discussion with you, further proving that you are not a man, right? I don't care how much you slam the chair and throw your vagina on the table, lady. This is not what men do. This is not appropriate behavior. And poor Ben, when he, she, they, them, I don't know the pronouns, when that being said vagina, Ben's face was
He's like disgusting.
He's like, what?
He was like he was
there.
Shocked. I mean, in a way, shocked. This another thing for all of the real men, the men who actually have dicks and are thankful and glad and okay with having one, and the women who have vaginas and breasts and we're okay and glad about that. We need more of us to put a stop to this.
Yes.
To stand up. We need more of us to say, no, you're not a man. You're not a woman. You're just not. We can appreciate that you may have dysphoria. We can appreciate that you want to wear the opposite clothes, transvestite. We can appreciate all that. But you are not going to claim that you are one or the other like I am. And then to add the icing to the cake, tell me that, what do they say? What is it? I'm a cisgender no. We need more of us to stand up and say no.
Yeah,
that's right.
Let's continue on here.
Radically, I'm not. I think you can read on my face that I radically am not. When we're talking about abortion.
No, I mean, you can present it here, but in most of the content that you have, you attack my community constantly. And you don't even realize guys like me exist who actually share a lot of similarities to you.
No.
And everything, because I'm a married man of 20 years. Got a wife.
I recognize that you exist. I disagree with your claim that you are a male.
So if I was sexually assaulted, right, and I didn't have access to that abortion care, do you believe that I should have carried that child to term because I was sexually assaulted?
I mean,
no, I just want to make sure that that's what you believe. Because as a transgender man, I have seen your side of the entire political debate, never ever having the conversation of what an American freedom is. Because why am I not allowed to live my American freedom as a man? You know, I mean, you get your choice as a man to live and free and all that.
You're really moving around terminology very wildly here.
And so are you, because that's the tactics you play in your game. And you've done it the entire time. You jump from one subject to the next. You speak so fast, and I know how you work. So how does it feel to have it in your face?
Well, I mean...
Because I'm sick and tired of the shit that you have put against my community, especially black trans women. Because you constantly disregard all of our needs and then use us politically as a pawn when we're 1% of the population. Why not focus on the economy itself? All of us are struggling, and you want to focus on trans people. You want to focus on a black woman when this is clearly a glass cliff situation. America's falling apart, and let's give it to a woman right when it's all falling apart, when we'd had, 50 men run it and it looks like shit? Look at where we're at.
You're not a man.
Where do you think that we're heading? I mean, it's so funny to watch white supremacy just fall apart the way that it is. And you ride so hard. Because guess what? In other countries around the world, women are not having children. And why is it?
Yes, they
because
are.
of the patriarchy and all the violence that men perpetuate, and all of this idea that abortion is somehow going to solve it all by forcing women to have abortion instead of focusing on the real problems that we're facing in our society.
She is on her period.
We're just going to completely ignore that. And we're just going to go, you know what? The line item is, let's make women have babies so that we can continue this capitalistic society that we have. Why are we doing that? What? I mean, why? Because you want to push white supremacy and because you want to make your check? It does great for you?
That's all you can do.
Meanwhile, people like me have to live with the consequences of all of your rhetoric that you put on a daily basis. And including my entire community. And the intersectionalities of black women, men that experience SA, trans people, everyone that comes in. And I'm so sick of the idea that you can come in with this bravado, that you're this big guy that knows things because you can talk fast, you have statistics. But really, what does it really matter at the end of the day if you are harming the entire American...
Stop it right here. So...
What is on that guy's back?
First of all, we clearly, as a woman right here, as me, with 3 women on the stage, I can clearly tell you that she is PMSing. So she's already told us she has a vagina. She's PMSing, and she's just all over the place. This woman has talked about abortion. She talked about low population across the pond in other countries. Talked about white supremacy.
The economy.
I mean, he's a man, but then he has a vagina. I told you. I mean, I would be like Ben did at the end. Just sit there and let her run and ramble, because there's no need. There's no point to argue with someone who's that delusional.
Yeah.
That, not arguing is one thing, but allowing them to get away with it is something different. And this is where right-thinking people have got to stand up. Ma'am, I'm sorry that you don't, feel like you've gotten your American dream, but you've made choices. And America has allowed you to make those choices. And if you are unhappy with those choices, change them. The same way that you believe that you can change your gender by simply putting on clothes and putting a little bass in your voice is the same energy you should take into fixing all the things that you think are wrong in your life. The American dream doesn't wait for you. You got to go get it, right? Don't bring up black women. Leave us out.
I don't even know how they came into
I don't know how either. I was like, Is he black? Is she black? Girl, don't be dragging us into your shit. Don't do that. No. Mm-mm.
All right, I think it's almost done here. Let's continue on.
This guy's been accused of rape. Trump. In like court documents, and you're backing the guy. Like you have children. How could you do that to your own? Don't you have a daughter? Like, what is wrong with you, dude? I've never seen such a party just completely like the American idea, what we believe in as a country, is not what you're perpetuating. It's diversity. It's giving you tired, hungry, and poor. The Google phone you have in your pocket is because of all of the diversity we've had. Pleasure to meet you.
Oh my God!
That's something a woman would.
That's a bitch move.
That's exactly. That's something a woman would do. A woman would definitely do that.
All right, that's good.
A woman would definitely do that.
Yeah. I mean, this is just a caricature of a man. Nice meeting you. No, this is stupid.
You know, it's so immature.
Yeah.
Like the entirety of the conversation was every rant they've always wanted to say while they sat at home in their little hovel and watched Ben Shapiro videos. If I ever have a chance, I'm going to tell him this. You're not even having a conversation. This is a monologue at this point.
Exactly.
You know, that's where you, Jimmy Kimmel. Let me finish. Ask me a question and let me give you an answer.
And we know that's what a woman would do because we're all women.
Right. When they hit that last nerve, and you've been meaning to say something.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
And guess what?
But we wouldn't do it that way. That is a unhinged one.
Right.
Yes.
That is a woman with mental illness.
Right. But I'm saying, but real women, that's what we do. And guess what? Real men know, and I would still say we love them and they love us because we understand each other's, I guess, language, if you will. That's what it is. But this is ridiculous. I mean, delusional.
Yeah.
Delusional.
You should have asked her if she wanted tacos. Do you want tacos and margaritas? Come on, let's go get some tacos and margaritas.
Yeah, well, and what she said was one thing she said was truthful, is how Ben was sitting there, you know, like a big guy. He's not that big of a guy, but just sitting there, calm, cool, collected, and not really giving her what she wanted, which was a reaction. And this is what masculine energy does. Masculine energy would not have met her and went all crazy and things like that. He did what a man does.
Exactly.
Just let her go
what
off.
a man does to a woman when a woman is going off. You just like, you know what? You let her have her moment, whatever, and whatever. That's what you're right. Exactly. That's what alphas do. I love an alpha.
Yeah.
Look, and then we go for tacos and margaritas.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this is
We make it
why
better on the back end.
And this is why there's no such thing as changing your biological sex.
Exactly.
Gender was created right here. The first time the name gender, or the term I should say gender, was used was actually here in Maryland by a man, a doctor named, what was it, John Money? I think it was John Money.
Money or Mooney, something like that. Yeah.
In 1955, he's considered the father of gender theory. Money is thought to have sexually abused his minor patients, and he is responsible for the disastrous sex change surgery performed on a boy who had suffered a botched circumcision. Money had promised the parents of the boy that gender was entirely a social construct or creation, and that their son would be fine if he cut off his testicles, gave him estrogen, and they raised him as a girl. That boy wasn't fine. He committed suicide at 38 years after reverting to living as a male. So this is what they have based all of their woke philosophy and pseudoscience on this. And it was something that was done that was really, it was demonic. It was crazy.
You know, they did a whole Law and Order episode about that. The interesting thing is that he said it, and you read it out, a theory.
Right.
This is not the whole thing when we talked about cisgendered and being a cis woman and all of that foolishness. You know, we diverge immediately because they say the gender you were assigned at birth. You weren't assigned a gender. You were born male or female.
Right. Well, now they're teaching, even in school, they're teaching again that gender is a social construct and that it's higher than biology. So now they're telling students, whether from K on up to college, that your biology, your biological sex does not matter. It's the gender that matters. And they're rolling with this. And this is why we're seeing so many issues with our children.
And therein, I was going to say, therein lies the problem, which is why I like to say sex. There's a difference between sex and gender. I don't interchange the two, or at least I try not to. But sex, the word sex in this biological sense, male, female, XX, XY chromosomes, was used up until I think in the mid 80s, if I'm not mistaken. So, somewhere in the mid 20th century. But that's why I think people get confused. We use those words interchangeably, and it's not. Their gender is different. I still say sex, and particularly even more so today in these circumstances. I think it's important, ever more so, that we use sex to be clear. You are a female, you are a male, you have, male genitalia, you have female genitalia, XX, XY, things like that. Sex is the biological term. Gender is the social or sociological, social theory, psychosocial terminology, concept, construct. And that's where the change really started to come in existence.
But then they're putting gender above.
I know. That's why it's up for us. It's up to us to make it be what it's supposed to be. Say what it's supposed to say. Sex.
Right. And one of the things we talked about this when we talked about the Scripps spelling bee too, is that you see Merriam-Webster playing with language. We have got to stop allowing them to invent words. Ben's face when this woman says, do you think a transgender person can be essayed? And I'm like, essayed? And his look was my look, and then he looked across the table at her, and then she goes, "Oh, sexually assaulted."
Right.
Just like, okay, so then say sexually assault. We've gotten to a point where we're allowing them to frame the argument by playing with the words. I went away to a political training, if you will. Very prestigious campus, Ivy League. And I got into just a bit of trouble, just a smidge, because whenever you wanted to ask a question or you wanted to engage with one of the speakers, the requirement was for you to use your pronouns.
Oh, whatever.
Oh my God.
Right. So imagine me, right? And so I'm just, you got the little name tag in front of you, like, oh, it's Nicole Bennett, not this, and this. And like, oh, you forgot your pronoun.
No, I didn't.
I said, oh, you may call me Madam Chairman. The hell, if you can't manage Nicole Bennett, you will bow down, honey, because I worked hard for that title. You can call me Madam Chairman. So they all turned around, and then the very liberals started to snapping because they were like, "Ooh, you're sassy." I'm not sassy. I'm not playing your games. So I ended up having to go to a meeting with them, and they literally had a talking stick. A stick like you couldn't speak unless they gave you the stick. And this woman was like, "Well, you offended me because you didn't use your pronouns." And so I'm sitting at the table, and I'm like,
why do I have to have any? Don't I get to decide my own
identity? First of all, I ain't got that to do. I said, let me tell you something. I don't know what any of these words mean. I don't know what you're trying to say. I don't know what the bottom line is, but it's 5 minutes to dinner time and I got an hour, right? Send me an email and I'll get back to you with whatever your grievance is. But I'm not going to sit here and hold a stick while you all pat each other on the back by, playing with language. If you got beef, bitch, say it. If you got beef, let's get to it. But it's so ingrained in them. One of the things that I did is I created a dictionary for the people I had to work on the project with, their words to actual English. So we all were on the same, playing field, because like Ben, I was just sitting there mystified half the time, like, what the hell? I don't understand any of this. And I'm not willing to learn.
Right. Exactly.
I'm not willing to change.
Exactly.
But for some of these younger people who were at this same training, this is all they've ever known.
Right.
So translating their language into actual English became a thing. And they were like, what's the dictionary term? Because for me, if you served in the military, especially if you were injured or, earned a medal or something, you're a patriot. Well, for them, they're veterans. And I had to explain to them, same people, different points of view, right? Okay. Different points of view. But what for our exercise, we're going to call them patriots, right? We're going to call them patriots. They said, well, that's not what we call them. I was like, right,
whatever.
Here, you have to stand up. We can't just say, well, if I say a certain thing, it's going to hurt your feelings and then I'm in the wrong. No, facts don't care about your feelings. And to be frank, neither do I. I don't care how you feel. If my words made you feel some kind of way, You pick salty, then be salty, right?
Oh, wow.
We have got to start framing this argument in truth and reality, or we're all going to be cisgendered women who are trying their best to avoid an essay while walking through the streets of Baltimore.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? We got to stop
have
doing
to,
that.
and we have to meet them where they are.
Exactly.
We have to
Head
stay
on.
up to date on
Head
it.
on.
We have to continue to push back against this stuff and know the lingo, know what they're trying to do, so then we know what to do, how to combat it. That's what we have to do.
Yeah.
I'm curious, as far as the chat's concerned, you guys, do you use pronouns? Just put in the chat yes or no. Do you guys use pronouns?
I'll tell you what mine are.
Have you been addressed
Like
by
I said,
someone who's
Madam Chairman, what
asked
they
you
can
to
call
use
me.
your pronouns? I'm curious.
I'll tell you what
Listen,
mine are. Human, American, female. When I use it, if I'm on a Zoom and they ask me, I'll say that's what it is. And I think some people actually get upset. Do I care?
Of course,
No.
because you're not buying.
Human, American, female. Other than that, you can call me Shelly, whatever. That's fine.
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
You got Nicole Bennett or Madam Chairman. Those are your options, because I'm not going to allow your delusion to overshadow my power.
Exactly.
Sometimes when power is in the room, and I mean real power, I'm not talking about like the bravado we saw, that man pretending to be a woman or the woman pretending to be a man. I don't even know where we were with that, right? But real power is what been displayed.
Exactly.
I'm good in my area.
Exactly.
Right here, fam, this whole kingdom, in this case, this whole queendom, we're good here. We're not going to buy into that foolishness. And if you come over here and I have to kind of look at you for definitions of what you think words mean, we're not effectively communicating. I'm going to need you to take a time out, go get yourself a nice cool beverage, work on it, and come back when you got it right. But what we're not going to do is me have to learn a whole new language to fit your narrative.
It's ridiculous.
I'm not
And
doing
we
it.
shouldn't have to say what they can't make us say something.
Right.
That's nonsense.
I say mine just to be smart. I say that just to be smart, just to be facetious.
First of all, I'm a
But
whole mess.
speaking of keeping up on what's going on within the news, within the mainstream media, what's going on within the left, I want to talk about these pardons and commutations that Biden did. So, wow. So you guys know President Biden is commuting the sentences of nearly 1,500 people, and he's pardoned 39 others in the largest single-day act of clemency in modern history. The White House announced last Thursday the amnesty will be extended to roughly 1,500 people who were placed on home confinement during the COVID pandemic, and 39 others who were convicted of non-violent crimes, especially drug crimes, who have shown successful rehabilitation, end quote, according to the White House press release. Biden said in a statement he would take more steps in the weeks ahead. So he's not done, folks, and continue to review clemency petitions to advance, quote, equal justice under the law, promote public safety, support rehabilitation and reentry, and provide meaningful second chances, end quote. So let's talk about these pardons. And this is important for us to actually make sure we're aware of what he's doing. Because some of the people that he's commuted, some of the people that he's pardoned, they were actually in on some pretty serious stuff. So I want to ask you, I will start with you, Shelley. Is there anyone you feel like needs to still be pardoned?
Yes. Me. I mean, I wish he would just pardon me when I think I stole some gum. I was about 11 years old. Stayed out late, whatever. I sped on the highways, probably threw some litter out the car window. And I want him to pardon me for those things. And I want him to pardon me for about 20 years into the future for things I'm going to do. So I think he should have pardoned me.
Yeah.
I have a list of people that I'm sure he's not going to pardon. I don't think they're going to register. But all of the people convicted under the FACE Act, all of those people should be pardoned. Not one crack user between them. Nobody's using any booger sugar. All of these are people who are standing up for what they believe in, who are fighting for the right to life, who now find themselves, felons. Beverly Beatty Williams.
Yep.
She's still in federal prison. I sent her a letter the other day. I realized that you can't send her any kind of packages. You can't send her like a Christmas gift. I can't even send her a postcard. I had to sit there and type out a letter to send to her. And I know quite a few of my friends are writing to her too. But if you're looking for people to pardon when the law gets it wrong, when the legislature gets it wrong, those are the people you look at, not just your friends and not into perpetuity.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's an abuse of power.
It certainly is. And, he's done a lot of these commutations. And I want to make sure people know the difference between a pardon and a commutation of sentence. So a commutation of a sentence reduces a sentence either totally or partially that is being served, but it does not change the fact of the conviction, imply innocence, or remove civil disabilities that apply to the convicted person. Additionally, a commutation of sentence may include the lifting of any financial obligations that are imposed as part of a sentence, such as a fine or restitution. It has no effect on a person's immigration status and will not prevent removal or deportation from the U.S. So a pardon is different. That clears it all. So a pardon basically is an expression of the president's forgiveness. They are often granted in recognition of the applicant's acceptance of responsibility for the crime and established good conduct for a significant period of time after conviction or completion of a sentence. So while a pardon does not signify innocence, it does remove civil disabilities, such as restrictions to the right to vote, hold state or local office, or sit on a jury, imposed because of the conviction for which pardon is sought, and should lessen the stigma arising from the conviction. In some circumstances, a pardon will eliminate the legal basis for removal or deportation from the U.S. So the pardon is like it never happened.
Yeah, it's a get out of jail free card for real, right?
Yeah.
The thing to again allow you to own a firearm legally. It's like it never happened. It's like a gigantic magic eraser.
Now, is there anyone that you guys feel, I have a couple here, that you feel who were either pardoned or commuted that you feel like was controversial, it shouldn't have happened?
Oh, he had a lot here. There were a number of I'll say this broadly speaking. Many of the people that he pardoned or commuted their sentence, these are some of the same people who were prosecuted under the laws that he pushed.
Yes. And the irony of that is not lost.
Yes.
Right? Again, I think, Biden's not really driving the truck at this moment. You know what I mean? I think his team saw this as a chance to kind of further their agenda, to pay off some friendettes.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the major ones that I saw was Mira Sachdeva. Now, remember when Biden first got into office and he said that he was going to cure cancer?
Yeah.
Remember that?
I do.
He just commuted a sentence of this person, a Mississippi oncologist, convicted of administering diluted chemotherapy treatments to patients while billing for full doses, resulting in substantial health insurance fraud. Her clemency contrasts sharply with what he said about cancer.
Yeah.
I mean, this is crazy. I mean, the people that he pardoned, Jim Carlson, a synthetic drug dealer whose actions contributed to public health crisis related to substance abuse. The Star Tribune reports Jim Carlson, a head shop owner, found guilty in 2013 on dozens of felony charges after experts said he sold enough synthetic drugs to cause a public health crisis in Duluth, and his sentence commuted on Thursday as of one of the nearly 1,500 convicted criminals.
Right. Yeah, again, not all. Many of these people, many of them, I think an overwhelming majority were prosecuted on drug crimes or even some non-felony crimes, but they had to serve time for drugs. So again, these are the same policies that Biden pushed when he was back in the 80s, 90s, all these drug laws.
Super predator days.
Right. The same kind of policies and laws that he pushed that the Al Sharptons used to rail against and the Jesse Jackson, but now, he's the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a farce. Again, does he have the right to pardon? Absolutely, from a constitutional perspective. But these were nothing but political paybacks, and they still lost this last election.
Yeah.
Biden he's not making the decisions. You're right, Nicole.
Yeah. He's not making the decisions. But for me, KJ, it was Judge Conahan.
Oh,
okay.
That was the problem for me. That, I'm originally from Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And that this particular judge,
Kids for Cash, right?
Kids for Cash, had no problem locking up children and fattening his pockets.
Right.
You know, anybody who had any sense of what this was really about knows that he got the slap on the
Kickbacks.
wrist in the
Yeah.
first place. Because I think he got 16, 17 years sentence. He should have gotten at least 30 years.
Wow.
He should have gotten 25 years for every child's life that he put up roadblocks and impediments in. He should have been made to pay with the rest of his days for what he did to these children.
And this is, and Nicole's talking about, he got kicked. It was a scandal in Pennsylvania where he accepted kickbacks for sentencing juveniles to for-profit detention centers. His actions led to wrongful incarcerations and have been widely condemned. Biden let him off.
Yeah.
He commuted his sentence.
Yeah, and you know, the pushback from the White House was like, well, you know, he was almost at the end of his sentence. No. He was already gifted a short sentence.
Right.
You know, even Governor Shapiro was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
What the hell? When there's someone who preys on the weakest among us, we have to stand up as a community and say, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
But they love the kids.
Oh, please. Yeah, they also let free the brother of a former Hamas political wing chairman, Khaled Mashal, was unexpectedly released from U.S. prison. This guy, he, according to, he was released after serving 16 years and will spend 1 year in rehabilitation facility. So, I mean,
to pardon this many people, I think, particularly in one session on your way out, it makes it a farce.
Yeah.
It makes it a farce that this particular system, the pardoning, the clemency system, is not being used judiciously. It's not being used in the sense that it should be used for people who may be, you know, remorseful, who've served their time, who were prosecuted excessively for some minor charge. This makes it a farce. It certainly does have the appearance of kickbacks and quid pro quo. This is what makes me upset about it. And many of these people, if they were at the end of their sentence, then why not let them finish it if that's the case?
You know,
because they were not wrongfully convicted.
Exactly.
In a sense.
That's what I was going to say. You know, when you think of pardons and commutations, you want to think of someone being very sober in their deliberations, looking at all the facts. But when you take a look at the bigger picture of whose sentences were commuted and people who were pardoned, it's a checklist of political people.
Oh, yeah.
It's a checklist of political people.
This has been the Biden crime family's MO from the very beginning. They have been getting kickbacks from everywhere, from China, from Ukraine, from Russia, even from people within the United States. This has been they have been in public office for most of their lives. They have gotten rich off of it, and it has all been through this type of stuff. And I personally believe that what they did was he wanted to do so many people at once that people were not going to take the time to actually look at the sentences and the issues and the stories behind these people that were pardoned and commuted.
Yeah.
And he's gotten more. I mean, do you all believe that he's going to pardon Liz Cheney and the rest of them?
I don't put it past them. I'll say it that
I don't
way.
think Liz will take it though.
Oh, please.
I don't think she'll
Why?
take it. I don't think she'll take it
Why?
because she believes her own hype. She truly believes that she's a political powerhouse.
She does, but I think she would take that pardon in a heartbeat because in that sense, it would give her more, more impetus or incentive to keep spouting the lies that she says about Trump with impunity.
Well, there's no impunity because he can go after her civilly like he did.
If Biden pardons her for future, like he did Hunter,
he can pardon for criminal, but not for civil. And this is what Trump has strategically done. The people are like, oh, he's going to lock people up. No. He's hitting rich people in the place that hurts them the most, in the bank account.
Yeah.
You know, George Stephanopoulos' little tiny self. And I don't mean that in stature, although he's a short person. I mean that in personality and the way that behaves.
Yeah.
Called Trump a rapist.
Yeah.
Over and over again, talking to Nancy
million.
Mace, who was, a victim of rape. And she's like, why are you pressing me so hard? It was a very aggressive interview. And if you guys know anything about politics, you know who George Stephanopoulos is. He was Bill Clinton's right-hand man.
Yes.
You don't want to talk about sexual assault and William Jefferson Clinton in the same sentence.
Not with George
You don't wanna do
Stephanopoulos,
that.
because he came after those women who accused Bill Clinton of rape, sexual assault. Not to mention that Bill Clinton admitted, particularly with Monica Lewinsky. But yeah, I mean, but this whole pardon system, at least the way Joe Biden has done it, and I'm granted, I know other presidents have done it, and they will do it. And I think other presidents could. It was political things as well, but it's, the system itself has become abused.
I gotta shout out our super chats here tonight. Thank you all so much. We certainly appreciate you. All right, we have Shantia. The $5 super chat says hands down, doing a high
thank
five.
you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. All right. Yeah, this is in speaking of Liz Cheney, I mean, this week she's come under fire. I mean, the Congress is going after her now. Some of Trump's congressional allies took his words seriously. On Tuesday, the House Administration Subcommittee on Oversight released a 128-page report from its investigation into security failures at the U.S. Capitol on J6, as well as the House committee formed in its wake. In the report, the committee led by Republican Representative Barry Loudermilk accuses Cheney of committing federal crimes and urges that her actions be fully investigated. Looks like investigations are going to start out for Cheney and whoever else was involved.
Listen, I love a good
Get the looking glass.
I love
Get
a
the
good
looking glass.
Love a good investigation, especially in people who went out of their way to destroy evidence against someone else. Now, you know, I know that we're all hoping that this transition is peaceful, but there's not been any indicators that it's going to be, right? There has not been one peaceful thing that has happened. They have aggressively given away billions of dollars at the end. This commutations and pardonings, incredibly aggressive. Joe still don't know where he is. He has no idea what the hell's going on, right?
Selling the wall, the border
the
wall.
pieces of the border wall that are outrageously expensive. You know, the problems that we're going to have is, yes, they'll hand over the reins because they have no other option. However, these are the kids who cry wolf. They throw the first punch, you know, and then run behind mommy's skirts when it's time to be held accountable. And this is what Liz Cheney has done.
It's interesting you're saying that because Kamala Harris just gave her post-loss speech, right?
Yeah.
But I watched it. Oh my gosh. She's encouraging, you would think she was still running the way she gave her speech, but she also, you know, said something to the effect that after you get your Christmas rest, come back ready to fight, whatever. So it's what you're saying. It make me think that, you know what, maybe they are trying to rev up for something on January the 20th. Yeah.
Of course they are. And you know what? I'm going to be right there to fight back. Let me tell you, what we cannot do is allow the lunatics to continue to run the asylum. If America has not learned anything in these last 4 years, is that they cannot be trusted. And it's a rude awakening. It's a rude awakening, and it's hitting some people harder than other people. But this awakening has to happen.
Yeah. But is it too late?
For what?
Is it too late for the awakening? We have here, I mean, just recently in, Colorado, after we were told for months upon months that this wasn't happening, that there was no Trend Aregua in Colorado, that they had not had an issue with gangs, Venezuelan gangs that have been taking over apartment buildings. And then we have this. This is clip 6.
Police are still executing search warrants here at the Edge at Lowry Apartments after they say a man and a woman were kidnapped and beaten by between 13 to 15 people in what police described as torture. Now, all of this started at around 8:45 p.m. last night. They say the man and the woman were in their apartment. They were taken, bound, and then beaten with a pistol. The man was even stabbed. The suspects then burglarized the victim's home. Now, the victims were released and police were called at around 2:30 a.m. The victims are now at the hospital receiving treatment for what are said to be non-life-threatening injuries. Now, police arrived at the apartments and found 15 people in one apartment alone. Most of the people in that room match the description of the suspects, and 15 people have since been detained. Police say this is 100% gang-related, but they're not sure if it's TDA.
This is without question a gang incident. I don't know which gang they are affiliated with yet. It might be TDA. It could not be TDA. We will determine that and we will find that out. But right now, as I said before, it is incredibly hard to identify specifically as TDA because there is no specific markers, there is no specific identifiers. Unless they self-identify as TDA, I am not going to say that they are TDA.
Wow.
That's
So
bullshit.
we have been talking about this, guys, for the last several months about what's going on in Aurora, Colorado. Folks, please get the likes up. We have so many people watching, but we do not have the same amount of likes, or even not even close. Get the likes up. If you have been watching and you know that we have been pushing this, we have been trying to inform everyone about what is going on in Colorado, hit that like button. If you are against this, if you want our border wall built, hit the like button. If you want our border closed, hit the like button. If you are against this next clip that we're about to play, this is clip 3. Hit the like button.
CBP1 is heading in.
Okay, so that is footage from Tijuana, Mexico, showing large groups of illegal aliens being brought into the U.S. via the CBP1 app, the Biden app. Folks, we have a problem, do we not, Nicole?
Listen, we've had a problem for a very long time with migrants and USCIS. You know, the problem that we have is that we do have immigration law. However, they've been asked to stand down. They've been asked to stand down. I spent some time at the border when I had a friend running for Congress, and we saw people walking in like it was nothing. I mean, they walk in like we would walk to a grocery store. The problem that we're going to have as a nation is that there are going to be some people who feel some kind of way when you see that going in reverse. When you see that big black van pull up and pick up your house cleaner. I'm not saying that all, illegal people are working under the table, but maybe the guys who work on a construction crew, maybe guys who work at a restaurant. When you see them gone, and the next time you see them, it's probably going to be on CNN getting off of a plane in Guatemala being repatriated. Honey, people are going to feel some kind of way, but this is what I mean about a standing firm.
It's Biden's fault.
Listen.
It's Biden's fault. I've said before, it's our Congress's fault.
Yes.
Biden exacerbated it under his administration, no doubt. But our Congress, over the years, over time, we've gone. They keep kicking the can down. We've signed, or we've had legislation signed. I forget what it's called, the Dream Act, and I forget all the different under McCain, the agreements. This issue has been a long time coming. These past 4 years, it's hitting the fan. So this is not. Don't get me wrong. I will say again, under this administration, it has been exacerbated. But our Congress refuses to uphold our laws, to initiate real immigration reform, if you want to call it, what do they like to call it, comprehensive, whatever. And as simple as closing the borders, you cannot come here illegally. We will have ICE, the CBP, DHS, all of them. We will have them arrest you and detain you. And we will not sponsor financially sanctuary cities, states, or any other sanctuary that houses illegal immigrants. That's as simple as that. Americans, we do need to stand up. We do need to say, no, enough is enough. I want them out. I've said before, bring, what you call them, the black trucks? Bring the black trucks. Bring them, because I want the illegals gone. I want them gone. I'm tired of hearing about Americans and innocent people being killed, gang raped, violated, terrorized. Get them out. Start with the criminal ones first under Trump. Let's start with the criminal ones and work your way down.
Well, what about, speaking of sanctuary cities, this is what we're doing. This is what they're doing in LA. This is clip 4. Take a look.
I'm Philip Palmer, live in the ABC 7 newsroom. Here's what we're working on for 3 o'clock. In a unanimous vote, the city council today formally established Los Angeles as a sanctuary city for migrants. This will prohibit city resources or personnel from being used to help federal enforcement of immigration laws. The vote comes after President-elect Trump promised mass deportations, we will have new reaction.
So here we are sounding the alarm about this, and you have LA, California. They're not going to. They're protecting the people.
Well, they're not. Here's what they're doing. It's not so much a humanitarian effort as much as they like to cry it's humanitarian. But the census counts everybody, legal or not.
It's a money.
Counts everybody.
It's a money effort.
So this is a straight up money grab. But I will say this. Here's the problem they're going to have. If everyone else is cooperating and they're getting rid of the people who should not be here, the places that say, no, we're a sanctuary, they're going to be run amok, a la New York City, right? Let's think about what happened in New York City.
You mean
they were devastated financially. Chicago, devastated financially. What happens when there are only maybe 5 or 6 sanctuaries left? And there are millions of people who are going to pour into these areas, and we're going to cut off your federal funds.
I think
what's going to happen then?
These sanctuary governors, mayors, whatever. We just talked about these, the Democrats or the left revving up to do something on January 20th. I think this is a part of it. They want to be approached. They want the feds to come in so that they can start these riots. So I really believe that this is a part of it. They want to bring the fight on, so to speak.
Yeah,
they do. And unfortunately, I think in some cases it may get there, but the governors, the mayors, they're not going to be affected. Their innocent citizens in their cities and states are going to be injured, maybe lose their lives. They're setting people up to be harmed, if you will.
Yeah, but in their perspective, there's a small part of the population they're willing to write off in order to win. But knowing Tom Homan, stand up if you want to, get in his way if you want to. He don't have a problem locking your ass up. He don't have that issue. He'll sleep like a brand new baby. He has no issue standing on what the law is. Like he said, this is not a vendetta for him.
Right.
This is the law. And if you've ever spent any time at the border and seen what these people look like after surviving the desert, surviving the rape, surviving the coyotes, they're barely clinging to life. When you talk about inhumane, that is what's inhumane. To get here to the United States, to only have us tell you, you're going to turn around and take yourself right on back is absolutely inhumane. But the reality is, this is not about humanitarian efforts. This is about money. This is flat out about money and political power and all of these things that they want desperately. And they're willing to take your life to get it.
Well, folks, we will continue to keep you all updated on what is going on with this. If you haven't gotten enough of us, we have several other shows right here on Metro Conservative Media. Tomorrow night, I believe that they're having, tomorrow night is Just the Guys. Just the Guys is here tomorrow night. We also have the All American Talk Show here right on YouTube. And I have another channel, KJ Christian Conservative, is here as well. So those are some of the shows that we have here on YouTube. You can definitely check out. And we'll be coming up with Rumble stations for those shows as well. This is actually our last in-studio show before the holiday, actually before the new year, right?
Yeah. Year's almost over.
Yeah. So, folks, we are so excited about the inauguration, so excited about the holiday as well. We're all wearing red today to kind of celebrate the holiday. So thank you guys so much for choosing to watch with us, hang out with us tonight. Ladies, any last words?
I do. I have something that's been on my heart for a minute. I want to say thank you. Coming on Pop. Spending time with it. Again, I keep telling these are my friends, right? So when you see us giggling and laughing and kikiing and this is how we act normally, right? But allowing us to share that, allowing me to share my ideas and what's important to me and little tiny bits about me, you don't have to do that. You don't have to spend your time with us. And I am so very grateful for every single moment. I do a lot of public speaking. I do a lot of stuff. I am the quintessential busybody. I am. I'm busy 27 hours a day, but this is something that I thoroughly enjoy. I enjoy the chat. I enjoy the conversations, the friendships. I thoroughly enjoy this. So I want to say thank you very much for allowing me to be a part of this experience with you.
Wow.
Right. Yes.
Aww.
I know. Look how sweet I am, right?
Yeah, and everybody, if you love Nicole, hit that like
That's
button.
right.
I know we've been
Hit
getting
the like
comments.
button because Gimpy's
comment
going to
after
kill me
comment.
otherwise.
I know.
Hit the like button so I ain't got to fight Gimpy tonight.
Shelly, you final thought?
What was the question? I'm all sentimental, right?
Final thoughts.
Oh gosh, final thoughts. So, oh my gosh, look, we say so much, or I say so much during the year. As Christmas is coming next week, I just want to wish you all a healthy, safe, happy, fun, joyful Christmas.
An actual joyful Christmas, not that other joy.
Christmas.
Not that other joy.
I mean, that was very sweet when Nicole said. It kind of got me speechless. Right?
Oh,
what? Shelly is speechless.
But I do want to wish you all that. I just want to say thank you all for just hanging in there with us, right? I know this year's coming to the end and it's not here yet, but you all have been the mainstay for us here as we grow, as we work through some little kinks, the technical difficulties. You all are the reason why we are here, and I personally thank you for it.
Absolutely. Same here. I'm just going to continue on what the ladies have been saying. We are so thankful for our YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, family, Patriots. Folks, this has been a year.
Yes, it has.
This has
Yes,
been
it
a
has.
year. A year of fighting, a year of ups and downs, but we have continued. One thing has remained constant. We have been focused on the truth no matter what.
Absolutely.
We have been focused on that. And with you all driving us always, I mean, sometimes we're tired and we're like, are we going to do a show tonight? And you guys are the ones that get us on here. We love our YouTube family, all of you guys in the chat. I mean, I wish I could name everybody. Tijuana,
Kung Fu CJ,
Laura, Krista.
Laura.
Yeah, I mean, all of you guys.
Rico,
Kung Fu, LAPD.
LAPD SWAT.
Oh my gosh.
Can't have a show without him. Mark Slater. Mark Slater. You know, all of our usual suspects.
Yeah.
You guys, you have to understand, you know,
Shantia
especially, because sis, when we on our last fumes, you come through, and we appreciate the love. You know, this is not our full-time job. This is not what we do for a living. We do this out of love. And so when people do things out of love, it shows. It gives you a reason and a purpose to work 14, 15, 18 hours and then say, oh, today's pop day. You know, slap on some blush and put on a dress. You know?
Laura asked, when will we be back? We will be back live, or at least in the studio. We are going to have some virtual ones.
Yeah, we'll do virtual. So we'll be back on
January in the studio.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll be back in the studio in January.
Right. But
we will do some live. Yeah, just make sure you hit the notification bell. Hit the notification bell, hit the like and subscribe. And whenever we go live virtually, you will get that notice.
Yeah, we're still going to do from our houses.
Right.
Actually here in the studio. This is the last one for the year. Also, if you are not a Freedom Seeker member.
Right, Freedom Seeker member.
If I were you, I would do it now, because I'm telling you, the fire that's going to come out in January, when I tell you the turn up is going to be so epic. Y'all going to see us in our natural habitat showing off. It is going to be a whole hot mess. It is going to be fun. The inauguration itself. All of the parties.
Let us know if you're coming to the inauguration, January 20th, right? Monday. Let us know. You all didn't tell us the last time we asked you that. Let us know if you're going to be there.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how to get tickets, right?
So,
this is very important. Do not buy tickets from people who are scalping them online, because they don't have tickets yet. So what you need to do is go to your congressman's website, whether, you know, Senate or the House, doesn't make a difference. Go both places. And go and get your name in the lottery so that you can win tickets. There's so many people who want to go, whether your congressman is a Democrat or Republican, independent, doesn't matter. They have a commission that makes sure that ethically all the tickets are given away.
Right.
So get your name in the lottery. I think some people limit it to 4, some
I
people
think
limit to
2.
6 tickets.
I've seen 2.
It depends on how many
how many they get.
people, want to participate. That is how you get your tickets. Now be prepared. There's no cushy seating. There's none of that. You're not going to be under anything that's going to prevent you from being in the weather. So this is not a time to show up in your stilettos. This is not that moment.
You don't need tickets for the mall.
Nope. You can stand on the mall. It's the people's house, quite literally. White House is our house. But if you want to be on the inside of the gate where you're able to be a little bit closer to the action, you need a ticket. And getting that ticket comes through your congressman. Do not waste your money buying the tickets online.
You don't have to. Your taxpayer dollars pay for them.
Absolutely. And let me tell you the truth. The party on the mall, all the vendors are out there.
I know,
there's good music and good people.
We'll be there. We'll be there. We're going to broadcast probably from the inauguration. So just at least try to bring you some of the happenings going on. So it's going to be a time, and we deserve it. This is the culmination of so much that we've done.
I have a song for inauguration from one of my favorite, probably my most favorite musical, The Wiz.
Yeah,
remember the song Brand New Day? Everybody look around. There's a reason to rejoice, you see. You remember that song at the end?
I don't remember that song at the end.
Oh my God. Diana Ross, remember they sang The Wiz? Brand New Day. Can't you feel it? Oh my gosh. That's the whole.
Don't be sending the verse. But start with the hook.
Anyway, that's what I'm thinking about as far as the inauguration. Now, you all do not hear me sing often, and you won't hear me sing often in the new year. So you better take this and bring your butt to the inauguration.
I'm gonna say she's gonna sing all January.
I'm gonna sing. I'm gonna sing that song.
I'm gonna be right there, like
I'm gonna sing that song. I'm gonna sing Brand New Day.
For the Freedom Seekers. We're gonna make a video for the Freedom Seekers.
I'm gonna sing Brand New Day.
So there's gonna be a lot of things happening. So if you're gonna be in the area, let us know so that we can do our best to try to find you in the massive crowd that's going to be there.
Yeah.
You can pick us out because we'll be the happy ones.
Oh yeah, somebody said they were gonna be in Florida. I wish I was.
Oh, come on, Angie. We can all stand shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, I wish I was in Florida.
That's right, Scrapping Beauty. Yes, that's right.
I'm gonna be on my couch. That's right, sis. Watch it online. You're like, oh, look, they're having such a good time.
Yeah.
But it's going to be something, and typically there's weather.
Right.
So this is not your moment. Don't go get no new, nothing.
Yeah.
This is the time where you get to actually embrace your America. Put your arms around this nation and give it a big old kiss on the cheek. This is that moment.
Yeah.
And there's nothing quite like being in that mass of people who all love the country. And even there'll probably be some protesters. We're going to let them have it.
Right.
But they usually cordon them off on a section so that they're not a part of the larger crowd.
We are showing up.
And showing off
and showing out.
So thank you, everybody.
All right, lots coming in the new year. We got the new set. We're gonna have a new set here and everything. We got books coming out. We get some books coming out for the new year. Tons of stuff. So definitely hit that notification bell and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. What are you waiting for? Subscribe. If you love this country, if you love the truth, this is the place for you to be. This is your home. All right.
We're not going to forget to dance.
Laura.
We're going to dance.
I will be dancing, certainly.
Yeah,
I'm going to bring that down the Soul Train line.
Yeah,
at the BCF party. We were practicing at Christmas party.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's enough for us tonight. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, count your blessings and live a life of purpose.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
everybody. Merry Christmas.
All right.